Imagine you're juggling a dozen balls, each one of them a critical part of your business. Employees, budget, time, tools. Now imagine you drop one and it all comes crashing down. What if I told you with the right mindset and strategy, you could not only keep those balls in the air, but add more without burning out or breaking the bank? Today, we're talking resource optimization. Get ready to discover actionable strategies to stretch every dollar, every hour, and every team member so you can scale your business faster, smarter, and with less stress. Are you ready? Hey everyone, John here. 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 Welcome to the Leaders Leading Leaders podcast. Hey everyone, John here. Welcome to today's episode. In this episode, we're going to discuss resource optimization. How to do more with limited resources. Do you ever have enough time, money, people to do everything that you need to do? Of course not. So today we're going to discuss how to work smarter, not harder. Let's get into the strategy. The first strategy we're going to talk about is talent multiplication. This piece right here, we're going to leverage and develop the skills of our existing team in order to multiply those and figure out who needs to do what. In this day and age, it's not about doing more with less. It's about doing the right things with less. So when we talk about multiplying our talent, 2 applications you need to implement today. Get out your journals. You're going to want to write these down. This is an active listening podcast. Remember, one of the challenges that I have for you is to take one of these applications and strategies that we're going to talk about and implement them today. The first application for multiplying talent is going to be a skills audit. And as I was journaling and writing the outline for the episode today, I thought about my time when I just had got into training and I had studied training. I went to school for education, adult education. And my background, again, was developing web-based training, developing instructor-led training, following a model that we called the ADDIE model. We'd start with analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. That was the tried and true model. And I knew philosophically how to do all that. But application-wise, I really didn't have any clue. Yeah, we had put together some projects. We went through tasks and skills analysis. But for the most part, I didn't really understand exactly how to sit in front of a subject matter expert and take what was up here and put it down into paper so that way it could be taught. And when I walked in the door for my first ever job as an instruction system specialist, I was clueless. So when I talk about a skills audit, one of the first things that my manager did, a great mentor of mine, he sat down with me and said, "Okay, John, what are you comfortable with? I know why we hired you. I see the capability for you to do great things, but what exactly do you know how to do?" And we went through, we spent about an hour, and he basically audited my skills. What that allowed him to do was to pair me with a peer, a mentor, to help coach me up on the specific processes and tools that that specific organization had. And I won't forget it. To this day, I still tell the story. This was over 2 decades ago when I first got into training, and I still remember it. Why? Because it was the most beneficial onboarding that I could possibly have gone through. And it multiplied his talent because now what was happening, one of his senior instruction system specialist was teaching me the ins and outs, taking that educational philosophy that I learned, that book smarts, and putting it into real world application. So that is a great way for you as a leader to start multiplying those skills. Figure out what people know, figure out what their interests are, and where their talents are. And you can do this not just with new employees, but do it with existing employees. I will tell you, there are people in your organization right now that have skills that you didn't hire them for and that you don't know about. They've either gained them while they've been employed with your team or your organization or your business, or guess what? They have them and they just haven't told us about them. So this is an excellent opportunity to begin to audit those skills. And one of the things that you're going to come away with is a skills matrix for each one of your employees. You can call this a development plan. You can call it a skills matrix, whatever you want to label this. Basically, what this is going to identify is the strengths, weaknesses, and any interests that these individuals have in those hidden talents that you may not be aware of. So that's the first application when we talk about talent multiplication. The second application here, you can call lunch and learns, you can call micro upskilling, but what I'm talking about here is spending 15 to 30 minutes a week on those exercises, those tasks, that are niche tasks that are very unique to the organization, or that are tasks that people don't perform on a day-to-day basis. So through your skills matrix, you're going to identify tasks that are unique to maybe 1 to 2 individuals within your team. Then you're going to ask those individuals to put together a 15 to 20 minute demo to share with the rest of your team. So you are cross-pollinating your team with Excel techniques. I'm not a huge Excel fan, but if I spend 50 to 20 minutes with an Excel guru on my team, they're going to show me how to run a pivot table, how to search and filter, how to query, all of the things that I didn't know how to do when I first got into using Excel workbooks. Another great task that we do, especially in the training environment, is artificial intelligence. AI is a tool that's embedded within our authoring softwares, within the software applications, within our computers. Do an upskilling technique or an upskilling class on how to use AI. Those are just 2 examples of where you can take a specific task that maybe one person has a bunch of knowledge that you've identified through your skills matrix and have them teach that task to the rest of your team. That's how you're going to multiply the awareness and the talent within your group. And when you do have limited resources, it's even more important for people to understand how to do each other's job just in case somebody gets sick. Because if you are one deep in an area and that is your single point of failure, you have to work to make sure you have some redundancy. They may not do the job exactly as that main person, that primary person who does it, but guess what? They're going to be able to limp along just in case something happens. So talent multiplication is the very first strategy when we talk about optimizing your resources. I want to take a quick break from the episode today to talk about a couple things. The first thing, less than 40% of our listeners are subscribed to our channel. You would be doing me a huge favor if you click on that subscribe button. It helps us grow our Go Be Great community and get this podcast out to as many people as we possibly can. The second thing, are you a small business owner that is drowning in the day-to-day operations? You're delegating tasks and you're still doing all the work. You're experiencing a high turnover. Maybe you don't have the systems and processes in place that you need to run a successful business. I invite you to go over to thejohnespinosa.com, fill out the form to see if you're the right fit. Now back to the episode. The second strategy, streamlining your processes. So here, what you're going to do is we're going to eliminate waste. The goal of this is to reduce friction in our systems and our processes that we have in place. This may seem like a heavy lift, but we're going to break it down into some bite-sized chunks so you can accomplish this. The first application for this strategy, I call the walkabout. A walkabout process audit. Just like you do a walkabout to discover, to figure out, maybe clear your mind, you are going to do a walkabout individual process. So I want you to pick one process. Write it down for me. Then you're going to take that process and you're going to walk through it from beginning to end. You're going to identify any decision points. You're going to identify maybe where there's potential delays, and you're going to identify possible efficiencies, that system or that process. Maybe you've heard some feedback. Maybe it's automation. Whatever that looks like, you're going to take that process and you're going to walk through the entire thing. You're going to identify those steps that you are now going to be able to either turn into what we're going to talk about next, a standard operating procedure, or you're going to be able to streamline that process by minimizing those delays, getting rid of all those choke points. There may be a decision point in there that you're like, why is that in there? Why does it need to come to me before it goes to finance when finance is the one that's going to approve the budget? That sort of thing. Those are things that you can catch Because remember, as we begin to scale our businesses, sometimes we don't scale our processes. So this is an excellent way to streamline those processes. Sit down, take one process at a time, and look to where we can gain efficiencies. So the second application for streamlining our processes is standard operating procedures. Take your top 5 tasks that are repeatable within your organization, that are your most frequent tasks, and you are going to document them in a standard operating procedure. I don't want it to be more than 2 pages though. Why? Because now we're getting into more of a manual, a how-to guide than an SOP. Keep those SOPs short. Keep them simple and keep them repeatable to where somebody wins the lottery. John won the lottery yesterday. He calls in. He's not showing up. Guess what? We can take those standard operating procedures and hand them to that person that you've identified as a cross trainer, and they would be able to follow that SOP to make sure that the business continues, make sure that the process continues. Standard operating procedures, especially if you are in a very high turnover industry, the restaurant industry, retail industry, all of those where people are coming, going. It's a seasonal job. You see surges maybe around the holidays, and then, there's a slow time. So you are going to be hiring and you're going to be letting people go. It's important that you have SOPs in place to train those new people, document what are your best practices, and then keep those moving along. That way you can optimize efficiency when you do those process audits. So that strategy, streamlining your processes. The last strategy we're going to talk about is our strategic partnerships. And my background in strategic planning has taught me that you're not alone. There are other like-minded individuals out there that are going through the same struggles as we are as small business owners, as new leaders, as leaders maybe trying to figure out what the new industry trends are, how to deal with technology, how to implement faster, be more agile, which makes us more competitive. Whatever your business looks like, strategic partnerships are going to increase your capacity to do work. So we're looking for external vendors. We're going to look for businesses here that are non-competitive with us, but can offer us a resource. So the first application we're going to talk about are barter and swap networks. Build your network of like-minded businesses that you can barter or swap services for. So if you're in the business of finance and you need a marketing business to help get the word out about your tax agency, make a proposal for a skill swap. You do the finances for that marketing agency, and that marketing agency in return helps you market your tax agency. That skill swap. And if you are a small business, you may say, John, you're crazy. I'm going to have to pay for that services. What do you have to lose if you ask? If you go and ask another business to swap you skills, you would be surprised the answer you get. So I challenge you, write down what are areas that you're strong in that you have to offer other places or other businesses or other vendors that could possibly give you a skill swap. So barter and swap networks are a great way to start expanding your partnerships. Another one, co-marketing alliances. This one right here, I've done to help increase my YouTube channel. I've guest appeared on other people's podcasts to expand our audiences. I've had people on the podcast to expand our audiences. So where can you share audiences, marketing capabilities to mutually benefit both of the partnerships? So right here, again, this is something, don't be afraid to ask, especially as these businesses are growing. Even if you're an established business, reach across the table, get your ego out of the way, and open the door to expanding your network. Our networks are our net worth. And by sharing audiences, this is a great way for us to get the word out. Back to the CPA story. If you are plumbing, if you are in consulting, guess what services that those individuals use? Tax services, CPAs. CPAs are a great network to have in order to share your services. Ask them to share your services with their audience. And in return, maybe you're doing a podcast, you throw them a bone and you advertise their CPA organization. This is a win-win situation. but you have to mutually design what it looks for so that way one person's not walking away feeling like they got the short end of the stick. So a recap of what we talked about today on how to optimize our resources when we have limited resources or we're trying to scale our businesses. The first one, make sure that we're multiplying our talent. And we do that through team skills audits and micro upskilling. The second strategy that we talked about is streamlining our processes. So we're going to do that walkabout streamline process audit and document our top 5 tasks within the SOPs. And then last but not least, we're going to leverage our networks to increase our audience. Those techniques are going to help you turning limited resources into unlimited potential. I believe in you. Go be great. Talk to everyone later. Bye-bye. If you like what you're hearing, do us a favor. Click on that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up or leave a comment. That lets us know that what we are putting out benefits you. If you want additional information or resources or learn how to work with me, head on over to thejohnespinosa.com, because when we become better versions of ourselves, it helps us get others to where they're going. Go be great. Talk to everyone later.